From jumping out of airplanes, flying gliders, spending summers abroad, and earning a tuition-free college degree from one of the top universities in the world, if you have what it takes and you're up for a challenge, there's no better place to be. You see, the Air Force Academy is unlike any other university in the world, but if you can make it through these lessons, you'll have all the resources you need to complete the most challenging college application out there. And most importantly, what you need to be doing to put yourself in the best position possible to get accepted. So we're going to break down everything you need to know. If you don't meet these standards as an applicant, you'll be disqualified, and that is almost always not the case. I've continued to share my passion for the Academy with thousands of students all across the country, as I spent the last year and a half putting together the most comprehensive Service Academy course out there, and it's designed to help you in more than just one way. Welcome back to the break room. Only once you receive a nomination can then be confident when you go. Now there's two ways you can look at their training. So once again, I invite you to join me for the Air Force Academy Blueprint. All right, welcome to the live stream for the official launch of the Air Force Academy Blueprint. I'm so excited that you're here. This has been such a massive project that I've been working on for the past 2 years, and it feels pretty crazy that it's finally out and ready to be shared with the world. So first off, just thank you for being here. I have a couple different things planned for this live stream and just wanted to give you a brief general overview of what you can expect. So the first thing I want to do is pull up some slides and just show you guys a little bit about how this course started, a little bit of background on me, and of course what you can expect. Then I'm gonna pull up our website, which officially went live. So that's right, if you guys right now wanna go and purchase the course, you can enroll right now at academyblueprint.com. We've got an awesome website that's now live that can give you a lot more information on the course and what you can expect. So I'll show you what that looks like. And then really, I wanna dive into some questions. So we sent out question links ahead of time where you guys gave some awesome questions about the course, what you can expect. And I wanna go through those. So we're gonna go through those questions kind of one by one. Now I do wanna say I got several questions about, specific individual feedback or questions from applicants just wondering, hey, what can I be doing in high school now? I wanna let you know that those questions were received, and I'll tell you, that's essentially what the Air Force Academy Blueprint is there to answer. So while for today, I'm gonna focus more on the questions that were pre-submitted, the questions that have to do with the course, just know that those questions that you guys submitted, I promise will be answered in the actual Air Force Academy Blueprint course. So please hold questions until the end, but you'll see that we have some awesome material for you guys. So the first thing I wanna do here is I'm going to pull up the slides that we put together just to cover a little bit more on me and what you can expect when it comes to the Air Force Academy Blueprint. All right, so starting off, let's start with where it all began. So if I go to the next slide here, I'm actually kind of a second generation, but multiple people in my family have attended the Air Force Academy. So my dad, Seth Eckholm, was class of 1989. My uncle, Leif Eckholm, class of 1993. And then myself, I was class of 2018. So if you look right there on the lower or in the top left, that's actually my dad flying the KC-135. I'm the one here in the blue beanie hat. Right there, looking small, looking up at him, which is crazy because you flash forward to that middle picture. That's me on in-processing day at the Air Force Academy. Day one of when I reported in. Was definitely off to a great start there, getting yelled at on the footprints of day one. And then that other picture is just me running during one of the many different physical training sessions we had at the Academy. So the Air Force Academy is run deep in my family. I'm super passionate about it. Which kind of brings me to what happened next. So after I graduated from the Air Force Academy in 2018, I went on to serve as a public affairs officer. Those who've been watching my YouTube channel for a little while will know what that is. I've definitely shared some videos about that experience. But one of the highlights of my career was serving on the F-22 demonstration team. So for 2 years, I got to travel the world with the coolest fighter jet ever, the F-22 Raptor, taking photos and videos and traveling to air shows, meeting different people. It's one of my favorite photos there in the middle with 2 up-and-coming pilots. And then after that, I was a lieutenant. I was a public affairs officer, got to travel the world. That photo is actually from a deployment I had to Thailand over the summer, which was awesome. And I just recently separated from the Air Force at the end of last year to pursue what I'm, kind of doing now. So for those of you who have followed the channel or followed the social media, I'm continuing to, share my passion for the military, aerospace, and defense, and hopes of inspiring you and all the other students out there and kids out there to potentially serve in the military. I've had some opportunities to do some amazing things. I'm super passionate about military, the Air Force, and where that's led me. So that kind of brings me to why I built this, the studio you see behind me, what I've been doing the past 2 years. And the answer for that is I remember when I was in your shoes. I remember when I was in high school applying to the Air Force Academy and just having hundreds of questions. I felt so overwhelmed, even with someone who had a dad that went there, an uncle that went there. There's a lot. It's one of the most complex college applications in the country. And it's very hard for students out there to navigate that application and find the answers to the questions that they had. So I knew that one day I wanted to make the ultimate resource, a place where students could go to find out in one place all their answers to their questions, let them know what they need to be doing to prepare and make themselves competitive for the Air Force Academy, and even people out there who aren't sure if the Academy is right for them. I want to give you the information I have that I've developed as someone who went to the Academy. I want to give you guys what I call that ultimate resource. So that's the point of the live stream here today. I want to share more about what this course can do for you, what enrolling in the course, what benefits you will get, and what you can expect. So the things that I'll be teaching you really break down to 3 different segments. So the first is how to prepare. When building this course, it was really important for me to address what you need to be doing in high school, younger, even earlier, what you need to do to prepare for the Air Force Academy, both the application to get in and both once you're accepted to prepare when you actually in process and get there on day 1. Second, how to apply. Applying is the biggest thing. You can't go to the Academy unless you're accepted, and that application process is long, it's complex, there are multiple different components, so we will dive deep into the application and how you can apply. And lastly, how to survive. This course doesn't end once you're accepted or once you finish the application. I'll then dive into cadet life, what you can expect during your 4 years as a cadet at the Air Force Academy, to give you my tips and tricks for how you can succeed once you're there. And I'm really excited to be able to talk more about that. So jumping a little bit into the module breakdown, this is what's super exciting for me because this is what I've been doing for the last 2 years, is crafting what I think is the most comprehensive Service Academy course out there. You will have access to over 60 video lessons, over 450 minutes of content, 13 different modules. This is just a sample right here of what you can expect. There's a lot. If I hit the next slide, I've kind of broken it down by modules and their corresponding lessons. So we're gonna start with an overview on the Air Force Academy. This is where, if you're someone still considering whether to apply, you'll learn a lot here about how the Academy works, the unique benefits, the opportunities. This is the module for you. We then jump into admissions and how to prepare. This is where I will cover from start to finish, give you a guide and a checklist for what you need to be doing to put yourself in the best position possible to get accepted. From there, that's when we start jumping into the application. And I know there are lots of questions on this. From the nomination, because that's right, you have to get nominated by US congressmen to attend the Academy. Then we'll go into the interviews, the multiple rounds of formal interviews you'll have to complete. I'll tell you what you can expect. I'll give you the questions that you're most likely going to be asked. And then we'll jump into the application, which is split into 2 different parts. I'll break down every single component, sharing the actual application from the Academy admissions website with you, so you know ahead of time what you're gonna be expected to do. We then jump into what I call the post-application phase. And this point, we're gonna talk about what it takes to get ready for basic cadet training, tips and tricks for surviving and making it through, what life is like once you're a cadet at the Academy in the 4 years you'll go through, what are the different milestones, what can you expect in terms of your class ranking, job selections for the pilots out there. We'll talk about what you can be doing to maximize the potential for becoming a pilot if that's something you're interested in. Parents, I'm talking to you directly. I hope there's several of you that are watching this live stream right now. You guys play a vital role in the application process. And this course is just as much for you as it is for your student, for your son or daughter out there. So I've got a module dedicated to the support you can provide to your future cadet, both while applying and while they're at the Academy. And this is one of my favorite modules there because I get to talk to you directly and give you my advice for being the best parent you can during that application process. Final takeaways and then bonus content. Let's just say that I have some surprises up my sleeve for you guys there, and I think these are some awesome videos that will help you out, giving you more information on the Academy, and as well as life after graduation as well. Now, I know there's a lot of questions on pricing, what this is gonna cost, what it gives you access to, and I wanted to hold off on sharing that until we really kind of broke down what you get, right? So the biggest thing is you will do, it's a one-time payment of $299. However, I will say that for this 7-day launch window, We are offering a discount of $100, so you can get access to the Air Force Academy Blueprint for just $199. Now, I will say that runs until August 27th, so a week from today, at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So I encourage you to take advantage of this exclusive offer. It's live right now for you to enroll. And the biggest thing I want to share here, and this was a question that was asked a lot, this is not a subscription. This is not you pay $199 every single month. This is lifetime access. So a one-time payment will give you access to these lessons for life. So you can come back and rewatch, rewind, revisit these lessons anytime you want, which is super exciting because that was important for me, and we'll talk about it more. So if you're a freshman now and you're not applying for a couple years, well, you've got access to this right now to know what you have to do to prepare and then to revisit these lessons once it's time for you to apply. Now, I'm also super excited to share that for those of you who have tuned into this live stream, I'm also offering an additional $20 off for you guys if you use the coupon code CADET at checkout. So that will stack with the $100 one before. So you're gonna get $120 off the full price of the Air Force Academy Blueprint. The last thing I will say here, and this is one of my favorite features and benefits that comes with the Air Force Academy Blueprint, is that every single student who enrolls will get an invite link to join a private community that will be hosted on Discord, where you can interact with both myself, other cadets, other applicants, and past graduates to ask additional questions. You finish the course, you still have questions to ask. It's not over once you finish the course and once you enroll in the Air Force Academy Blueprint. You're now a part of a community where we have different channels broken down for every single part of the application, life as a cadet, things you can expect after graduation, and you'll have the input from other applicants, from current cadets who are already in this community, as well as past graduates who are here to support. So enrolling in the Air Force Academy Blueprint not only gives you access to invite once we do go live. So at this point, that brings me to the end of the presentation. And what I wanna do now is I wanna dive into the actual website, print.com, access all of the content right here. If you notice at the top, we'll have some different menus where you can find more information. I'll get to that in a second. This video right here is the video that we played to start the live stream. It's kind of a trailer for the course, which is super awesome. And then if you scroll down, I just want to let you know that this is where you'll find more information on what you can expect in the blueprint. So this has information on the private community we just talked about, some testimonials from both an Academy liaison officer, current cadet, and an Air Force pilot as well. Now, if you scroll back up or if you click any of those learn more links, it will take you to the course overview page, which is really cool. What I wanted to do was provide you information before you purchase the course to give you a good idea of what you can expect. So this is my favorite section right here. We call it Inside the Course. And so what you can do is you can see every single module and lesson that you'll have access to. So if you click on it right here, you'll be able to see the different lessons and their timestamps here for each module. So you'll see module 1 is Academy Overview, Missions and How to Prepare. Feel free to check this out, guys. Just click on any of the modules here, read up on the lessons, and you'll have a good idea of what to expect. Now, if you're curious what the actual lessons will look like, well, that's what this next section is for. So these are lesson samples. I've got 3 different actual lessons, so you can get a feel for the style, the type of information. Actual lessons, so you can get a feel for the style, the type of information I'll present to you. I think this will be really cool right here for you guys to take a look at. Scrolling down a little further, we've got some applicant resources. Again, I don't wanna hide behind a paywall. I wanna give you guys as much free resources as you can, and for those that are serious about it, you can take the next step and purchase the course. So these are my 6 free resources here that you can just click the download link and access my admissions checklist, interview frequently asked questions, medical questionnaires, training program for basic cadet training. These are great resources. If you don't know what they mean now, I promise you will when you start applying, but you have access to these right now by just putting in your information and clicking download. And then finally, we've got the frequently asked questions here. We'll answer a lot of these here in just a second, but if you're ever curious, these are the most common questions I got asked about the course, who it applies to, some different stuff like that, so you guys can check that out. So at this point, I do want to turn it back over and we're gonna go through some of the questions here that you guys submitted ahead of time, which I'm super excited to get to, because it's important for you guys to understand what you can expect when you get this course. Like, that was my #1 priority. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up right here. All right, and the first question that was submitted here is, will this course be helpful to incoming high school freshmen, or should I wait until sophomore or junior year to start the course? So I hinted at this earlier, but Yes, you do not have to wait. In fact, I encourage you to purchase this course earlier. And the reason for that is when applying to the Air Force Academy, the biggest thing you can have on your side, the most valuable resource is time. Time to implement a game plan and time to make it happen. So if you're a freshman, sophomore, or even younger, this course will give you the resources you need to learn what you need to be doing now, so when you do enter your application window come junior year and the start of senior year, you'll be ready to go. Not to mention, you have access to this course for life. So if you're a freshman younger, it doesn't matter, because having access to this now will mean you can still access these same lessons, these same resources when it's time for you to apply. So great question. Moving on now, question is, I'm currently a college freshman looking to transfer to the Air Force Academy. Would this course be helpful to my specific situation? So it's a great question. We have individual lessons for pretty much every situation you can think of. And I have one dedicated specifically to share with students all the time. If you don't get in the first time, that doesn't mean your journey is over. It just means that you need to show the Academy that you've improved on the weak aspects of your application and you're still dedicated to getting in. So college transfer students, absolutely this course is relevant to your situation. I'll give you the tips and tricks and advice you need to know in terms of applying to college, taking that year or so to improve your application, and then recompleting the application in hopes of getting in. So great question. Okay, do you offer refunds? I wanted to include this for sure because while we 100% stand by the value that comes with enrolling in the Air Force Academy Blueprint and the tremendous knowledge that I know for sure you guys will get from this course, 100%. If you guys take this and within 14 days, it's not for you, you're not satisfied, any reason you want, we will offer a money back guarantee, which you can just contact us at the multiple outlets we have on our website. So rest assured that yes, we are 100% confident here in what the value will provide. Next question is, I'm in high school. My teachers and counselor are not familiar with the Academy. Does this course provide guidance that I could share with them on how it works? Yeah, so this is actually a big reason that I even kind of started with this course is I have several different teachers and counselors who will message me on social media saying, hey, I've got a student interested in the Academy. I'm not familiar with this at all. You know, how do I start? So not only will this course give you the information you need to apply, but then you'll be able to share that knowledge with your counselors, with your teachers, etc. And I've actually have resources created, for example, that like when you're requesting a recommendation letter from a teacher, I have a Microsoft Word document that's a template that you can then give them that has background on the Academy, that has links that they can learn more, and that also includes what they need to know when filling out those recommendations for you as well. So absolutely, this will help provide guidance to them on anyone who is unsure of how the Academy works. And once you know how it works, you can then pass that on and share that information with them. Hello, I'm a parent of a high school student interested in the Air Force Academy. Are there lessons dedicated to what we as parents can do to provide support? So we touched on this earlier. I've got a module dedicated just for the parents out there. And yes, I encourage parents to follow along with your future cadet in this course as well. I think you taking these lessons will open your eyes to not only what your son or daughter will experience once they're there, but also the support you can provide to them as parents. So we've got a bunch of different resources for you as parents. I get it, I understand it's as stressful for you as it probably is for your son or daughter, and I wanna make sure you're taken care of as well. I'm an enlisted airman currently serving active duty in the Air Force. I'm interested in applying to the Academy. Do you cover how that process works? Yes, so enlisted airmen, ever since the very first graduating class at the Academy back in 1959, prior enlisted cadets have been a part of the Air Force Academy. In fact, the Academy reserves several hundred slots every single year for prior enlisted cadets. However, the application process is a bit different than the standard high school applicant. And the program you'll apply through is called LEAD, which stands for Leaders Encouraging Airman Development. And it's a little bit of an interesting process. There's specific forms you need to fill out, things you need to do with your current leadership and commander. But don't worry, we cover that. I've got a lesson dedicated just to the LEAD program, just what it takes for enlisted members to make it in. And absolutely, we talk about that. I'm an international student curious about how the process works for applying to the Air Force Academy. Is that covered in this course? So international students, I hear you. One of the requirements to attend the Air Force Academy is you do need to be a US citizen. However, there are some ways around that, and the way around that is through the International Student Program, which the Air Force Academy is allotted X amount of slots every single year for international students. Now, there is some fine print to that. It is a different application and different application process than the standard applicant. It is competitive, I'll warn you now, but if you are someone who's not a US citizen, living abroad, and wants to attend the Air Force Academy, you can do it. There's just some specific information you need to know. So we've got lessons covered just for the international students out there. I think it'll be very helpful for you guys, and thanks for the question. Does this course cover how the nomination process works? It's incredibly confusing trying to understand the different nomination categories, and I'm really needing some assistance. Look, I hear you. When I was applying, the nominations was probably the most confusing part of the application. And there's a lot you need to understand. So in researching this course, I talked to multiple congressional staffers. I talked to the Academy directly on the nomination process and what they're looking for when it comes to some of the unique and specific categories. And the lessons we have on the nomination, I think, are some of the most rewarding for you, because I will tell you exactly how the nominations work, what process your senator or congressman will use when deciding who to nominate, including the interviews, how you can max that out, the specific quotas. I'll even walk you through exactly how to find the application for these congressmen. I'm very excited for this lesson, as I said, because it's confusing, and I think this will answer a lot of questions. I'm curious about whether or not the course would be more of a general guide on getting accepted into the Academy, or if it would be more personalized to the applicant and their specific situation. So here's the thing. What I wanted to do is this Academy resource out there. So that's why there's over 60 lessons, because I have lessons on pretty much every single specific situation you might fall under. We already talked about current college students, people reapplying, prior enlisted cadets, international cadets, homeschoolers, people whose high schools don't offer AP classes, people whose parents may be divorced and living in different states and they're wondering how to get nominations. All of that is covered in this course. I explain it in depth. But here's the cool thing. If for some reason you do fall into a different situation in a category that maybe we didn't talk about, that's where that community, that Discord private community that you'll have access to, comes into play. Because you'll be able to ask that question to other cadets, current applicants, find someone who's in a similar situation, even ask me directly, and I can chase down that answer and use the resources I have to figure that out. So I can almost guarantee that what we have in the course will answer that, but if it doesn't, you've got the backup in the community where we can all kind of get together to help answer that for you. So great question. I'm really nervous about basic cadet training in dually year. Do you provide any tips on how to make it through? So basic cadet training is the 6-week program you'll go through before you enter. It's long, it's grueling, and then dually year, if you guys aren't familiar with that word, that's just another word for freshman year, which is notorious for being pretty hard, pretty difficult. And yes, so when we get to the Cadet Life and What to Expect module, I have multiple lessons on basic cadet training, what you can expect, how to prepare, how you can survive it. And then of course, once we get to the academic year, I've got lessons on making it through dually year, my tips and tricks for the academic year, for studying, for the physical and mental aspect of things, for choosing an academic major, things you need to consider. I even talk about my favorite places to study at the Academy, because believe it or not, your dorm room is one of the worst places to study freshman year. So that's all covered. Great question. I think you'll be happy with what we've got. Does this course address how the medical process works, such as receiving a medical waiver? So if you aren't familiar already, to apply to the Air Force Academy, you do need to be medically qualified. So you'll undergo a medical evaluation, and it's it can be a long process. If you're someone who does have a medical issue that disqualifies you from the Academy, that's where the waiver process begins. And the Academy can seek a waiver for specific applicants depending on the situation. I fully understand that the medical process can be one of the most difficult and stressful situations of the entire application, which is why I spent a ton of time collecting information, talking to medical, what's called DODMER, the Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board, to give you the most consolidated information possible on how the process works. So we've got resources for you. I'll give you the questionnaire that they're going to ask you ahead of time. I'll give you the common medical disqualifiers. I'll give you the resources you need to determine whether or not you are going to be someone who's medically disqualified, because if you know early, then you can anticipate it. I spent a lot of time on this module, so absolutely we address it, and it's something that I really think will help you out. Will this course include advice on how to stand out during the essays and the interviews? It will. Essentially, what I did is I created a list of common Air Force Academy interview questions. So these were taken from cadets through a survey of once they got out of their interviews, what were the questions you asked? We wrote them down, so I'll give you access to that. And then the interviews are one of my favorite parts because it's really make or break. It's how you can stand out and come across as more than just a piece, a name on a piece of paper. So we'll dive into all of that and how you can knock both of these out of the park. All right, so will the blueprint be a one-time payment or monthly subscription? We already touched on this. It's lifetime access for a one-time payment. How do you develop a mindset strong enough to get through the academy while still enjoying your time there? The mental side of the academy, it's something you definitely need to prepare for. And that's why you'll see from the first lesson in this course, I spend the first module making sure the academy is somewhere you truly want to go. Because if someone else is pressuring you, whether it's a parent, friend, family, to attend the academy, and you yourself really don't want it, it's gonna be much harder of a journey for you. So I set that standard from the very beginning on making sure you know what you're getting yourself into. And then woven in all throughout the course are my tips and tricks for both how I survived, how other applicants have survived. I even reached out to current cadets for their advice as well. So we will give you pretty much everything you need in terms of going in and making sure you're in a good position to understand what's gonna be asked of you. Because if you know going in what you're going through, that's gonna make it a lot easier than being completely surprised, kind of like I was when I got there. So yes, we will cover that. And I really do believe that once you complete this course, you will understand what's going to be asked of you and what you need to do to prepare to make sure that you're getting through in one piece. Is there anything in this course that would help those interested in becoming Air Force pilots? So pilots, I hear you. I know I was in that position too. When I went to the academy, I wanted to be a pilot. The academy remains the best place to go in terms of the number of pilot slots offered and gives you the best chance. So absolutely, in this course, I cover the pilot breakdown, how many slots are offered, as well as the job selection process and how the academy chooses who goes on to pilot training after they graduate. And of course, what you need to be doing to make sure you're at the top of that list so you can get a pilot slot. So absolutely. Will there be a workout plan included, or will we have to make plans for that on our own? So yes, a workout plan both for basic cadet training and for the candidate fitness assessment are included in this course. You are more than welcome to download that. I think that's one of our resources we have ahead of time. You can download on the website to check it out and take a look. Will the blueprint include tips on how to get good letters of recommendation? Absolutely. Like I said earlier, I have a template for you guys to send to your teachers and other people who you're gonna request a recommendation from. I have advice on what you can kind of guide them for the specific things the academy's looking for there and how you can maximize the results here of those recommendation letters. Is this course helpful for applying to other service academies as well? I'm glad this question was asked because even though every service academy, meaning West Point, the Naval Academy, Merchant Marine Academy, they are slightly different, overall, a vast majority of the application is the same, meaning fitness tests, medical evaluations, grades, things you need to be doing in high school, leadership, extracurriculars, all of that remains the same. And I know that if you're looking at the Air Force Academy, you might also be interested in West Point. You might be interested in the Naval Academy as well. And so this course will give you those resources you need to make sure that you can apply the same principles to any service academy. Now, of course, we're gonna be a little more tailored to the Air Force Academy. It is the Air Force Academy blueprint after all, but I highly encourage you to take this if you're interested in multiple academies, because a lot of that stuff will carry over. All right, and lastly here, the last question I have is, does this course cover what it takes to succeed at the Air Force Academy? The reason I say this question for last is because it really kind of sums up exactly what the Air Force Academy blueprint is all about. It's not just how to get in, it's also how to succeed. It's making sure you know what you can expect going in and making sure you have the resources to be able to crush it. So yes, the Air Force Academy blueprint talks about what it takes to make it through the academy and succeed both with the application, both with your high school preparation or beyond, and once you make it to the academy. So that kind of brings me to the end of the questions that were asked. I appreciate you guys sending those over. If there were any other questions that weren't asked, I know there were a lot of questions submitted about personal advice, what classes should I be taking? Should I do this sport? Are my grades good enough? I hear you, and I'm not ignoring you as well. I just want to say that that's exactly what the Air Force Academy Blueprint course and the modules are designed to answer. So I would recommend that you guys, if you're interested, go take a look at the website, go visit academyblueprint.com, check out all the information there, kind of sum up what I just presented. And then also in the top line of the description is the enrollment link as well here on the video down below. But if any questions have still come up, if there's things that I haven't answered that you're curious about, things you want to know before you do buy the course, you can shoot an email. There's a contact site on the website, or it's support@academyblueprint.com, and I will get back to you with those answers. I want to be respectful of your time. I know everyone's got a busy schedule, but thanks so much for tuning in to this live stream. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to just be interested in this. Just you being here means you're committed to investing in yourself and your future and attending what I think is hands down the best college and university that you can go to. So this is really special for me, something I've been working on for a long, long time, and I'm so excited to finally be able to share it with you. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. I wish you the best of luck, and I will catch you next time.